You gotta watch this video.
Following a
Watch
forensic
this.
examination, we can confirm that baby Kfir Bibas, aged just 10 months old, and his older brother Ariel, aged 4, were both brutally murdered by terrorists while being held hostage in Gaza, no later than November 2023. These two innocent children were taken hostage alive together with their mother Shiri from their home on October 7th, 2023. Contrary to Hamas's lies, Ariel and Kfir were not killed in an airstrike. Ariel and Kfir Bibas were murdered by terrorists in cold blood. The terrorists did not shoot the two young boys. They killed them with their bare hands.
My God. And you know what? The part where the father, Yarden, looked him in the eyes, that's what he said, and told him, share this with the world. So the father is asking, please share this with the world so we know what we're dealing with. And you know, and then he just came out of Hamas captivity in the tunnels. You saw in his eyes that he was not taking it. When he went out, you saw a man that was full of rage and sadness and, despair. And he was not. When they were trying to parade him, talking about the Bibas father.
He was, on the 7th of October, he asked Hamas not to take his kids and his wife. He said, take me instead. And they took him, and then presumably what we know is that Gazans came and then they took his wife and kids.
Wow, my God, man. But just the fact that, you know what? I trust the Israeli forensic. I trust the Israeli intelligence. I've been there. I've seen it. I trust them. I don't trust Hamas. When they're saying that the forensic are showing that these babies were killed by hand, can you imagine murdering innocent babies by hand? What kind of a possessed, satanic, literally just evil, and then call yourself religious? In which religion will you justify strangling innocent baby? My God.
You heard the UAE Mufti and the Arab Saudi Arabia Mufti. They said you have brought shame to Islam. You have brought nothing but shame to Islam.
Yeah, and they know what they're talking about. No, Hamas have devastated the entire Middle East. They have brought to the collapse and destruction of Hezbollah. Great, that's a good thing. Iran, anyone that ties himself, Syria, Assad, he was a big supporter of Palestine. Anyone that ties himself with Palestine, with Hamas, with these forces of wickedness and evil, undoubtedly. You look at the videos and you see them standing in the streets, bringing their children to watch and celebrate the murder of Jewish babies. That's just a low level that you just can't imagine.
How sick do you need to be to actually bring your own kid like it's a game, like it's daycare?
It's a collision of cultures, and I think this is what the West is not understanding, and that's why they keep being shocked to the core of their being when they see such wickedness. And a lot of the Jews that were kidnapped in October 7th, they were, very much the peacekeepers. They were like the peace lover, the one that actually believed in coexistence, that believed in, maybe a two-state solution, I don't know what. And they were the first one to get like the slap in their face, the wake-up call that there is different civilizations that have different values of life and death, of morality and justification for horrific stuff towards women, towards little girls, towards babies, towards the Jews, towards Christians.
You're talking about them. I'm here. I was the one who believed in coexistence. I was the one who believed in peace. I was the one who believed in two-state solutions. After the 7th of October happened, I finally think I snapped, but something snapped here as well. Like a second snap, like a second time. You feel as well as you can have no one on the other side you can talk to. How can you talk to people who commit those atrocities
You can't.
and then they celebrate it?
You can't, man. You can't. And when they bring their children there, and when they eliminate every opposition that tries to bring some sanity, it's just getting darker and darker. Gaza, Palestine is just getting darker and darker and further from ever being. You can't, man. You can't. You know, this whole.
Somebody said something, and I totally agree. I would have believed in coexistence if they have given me a reason to. They are not giving us any reason to believe in coexistence. And I'm not saying that we need to change our values. We have our set of values. We know who we are. We know what we represent. But as long as they show zero morality, zero humanity, why should we continue to treat them as humans? Should we continue to treat them as humans? Can we?
I think you should always aspire to treat every human as a human, but hold them accountable to their actions, 100%. So, if they change their ways, if they change and they show genuine will to live in peace and harmony and existence and coexistence, etc., great. But they're not, and that is where many people are just failing to understand. You can't ignore the elephant in the room, and that is, across all of Islam. Islam want to dominate the world. Islam see it as the highest calling of Islam. The moderates and the radicals, they see it. If you give them the chance to snap a finger and you convert planet Earth to Islam or conquer it and then enslave anyone who doesn't want to convert or kill them, any Muslim will tell you yes. Anyone, even the moderate one. Because if he tells you no, he's going clearly against Islam. Clearly against the teachings. And he won't, dare do that. Judaism and Christianity have taken a long way away from the beginning of how things were. In the Bible it says you should stone a woman that committed adultery and kill her. I mean, no rabbi today will tell you, go and throw a rock at your wife and kill her. No, he will tell you, no, that's absolutely wrong. Even though the Bible, there are certain times, because Judaism and Christianity, they kept moving and advancing and adapting themselves to the reality and accepting the different, and also they don't want to convert each other. I mean, Christianity maybe a little bit more, but they don't want to force it. And Judaism, not at all. So you can have a Christian country and a Jewish country living side by side, and they have no incentive in conquering each other. Actually, they're very happy that they have, borders and different cultures where they can go.
Yeah, exactly.
Islam doesn't have that. And as long as they don't change that, there's always going to be an elephant in the room. Now, that is moderate Islam. Now, let's talk about Hamas. These guys, they're just pure evil. A whole culture. People don't like to say it, but there is cultures on planet Earth are just evil cultures. Bad. The morality there, everything is bad.
I didn't believe in that, before.
Most people
before
don't.
Today.
And then they get shocked completely, and it's very hard for them to accept the reality like this, where they're glorifying the killing of babies with bare hands. I mean, nothing justifies that. It was the easiest thing to do. You know what? Sorry, guys. In the heat of the moment, we were running. We wanted to keep some hostages so we can get back to Gaza safe in case someone comes and tries to take us down. We're holding a hostage. Evil, very wrong. But you got to Gaza. All right, take them back. Babies, we have nothing to do with them. But no, they kept them hostage and they killed them.
After a month.
And now they brought back, and without the body of the mother. It's just a show of pure evil. And
now the question is, what about Shiri? Is she still alive? Like
I thought about that.
The whole games that they're playing games with us, that's the thing. You watch horror movies like Saw and stuff like that, and you always think to yourself, wow, this is twisted.
Yeah.
Never in my life have I saw a movie, and I've seen a lot of horror movies. I've never seen something as horrific as those sick, twisted games that they play. It's with real human lives. My God.
And that's why you can't have peace with them. That's why you can't have a two-state solution with these radicals. It's insane. And that's why literally sometimes they say the only solution is war. And I'm not a warmonger, but there comes a point where you're faced with such wickedness and evil that you have to defeat it. That is the right thing to do. That is the moral thing to do, to defeat such evil that glorifies the murdering and strangling of little babies just because they're Jews. You have that influencer, I call him armpit hair guys, this young guy in TikTok, I don't know his name, it's like clearly the guy haven't gotten out of his parents' basement, but he's like talking about, all kind of conflict, because they're paying him money.
The baby face one.
Yeah, armpit hair, just look like an idiot. And then you have the ones that are just morally, they're just not strong morally, but they wanna really cling into something that makes them feel good. So it's very hard to become, a doctor that is working in the jungle, or a pilot that is flying, doctors to like different places, or someone that is building an orphanage. It takes a lot of sacrifice to do that. And then you come back and people will like, wow, let us hear your story. But it's very easy to just, shave your head, look cool, hipster, go to a pub and have like, a kafia that you say, oh, I'm standing against apartheid. And then all your friends, oh, you're such a good person. And then you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a cheat code to feel like you are a social justice warrior or something without really doing the hard job.
Yeah, it's kind of like Meatless Monday. Like people are not eating meat for Monday and like, look, I'm doing something for society.
Yeah.
I'm a vegan for a day. It's just like the
as
same bullshit.
As a Druze, I've never even I understand what you're talking about. Like that's just ridiculous.
But what is Meatless Monday? I don't know.
Either eat meat or don't. Anyway, but yeah, okay, let them do that. But my point is, it just makes them feel good about themselves, and it's a cheat code. And it just became mainstream to hate the Jews. And when you post a video that you're supporting Islam and you hate the Jews, you're gonna get maybe 7 million Jews that don't like it. Most of them are on social media and don't even care about you. And then you're gonna get maybe a few million Christians that might not like it, but you're gonna get hundreds of millions of Muslims and radicals and idiots that would like it. So it is by default the easy way to get the algorithm to like you. As an Israeli Arab, if I would have made videos that I trying to show Israel bad, and I'll be lying and putting all that out there, I will have 14 million followers right now. I've checked some of these Gazan guys that they just start posting pictures about the genocide, lying about the apartheid, lying about the famine, lying. Everything they posted is a lie, and covering for Hamas. That's crime basically. And they just went from 300 followers to 14 million.
Yeah.
Why? Because it is the viral thing to do, and it's the mainstream to do, mainstream kind of thing to do, to be an anti-Semite. It's terrible. But that's the group 3, which I think are the group that I hold probably the least respect to.
The algorithm. The algorithm is built on crowd, and the more crowd you have, the right answer it is.
Yeah.
I mean, right? It's like. Just by, it's like how we choose our government. It's like how we like democracy and everything. So just because a lot of people agree on something, it doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah,
a lot of people are watching the Kardashians. It doesn't mean it's a good show.
Yeah.
It's
Well, anyway, back to this. I just felt that we need to share that. And just like Bibas' father, Yarden, told Hagari, he said he looked him in the eyes and he said, please share this with the world. That is a father that is probably hurt, broken, raging. Of course you would. I would be raging. I would want every criminal to be brought to justice. If something would have done this to my children, to my family, I would want every one of these pieces of garbage to be brought to justice. And I would want the world to know, and especially the ones that are still trying to justify and make Hamas look like they're freedom fighters and make the Gazans look like, they're the innocent in that story. Sorry, they're not. Show me one Schindler that was in Gaza. One Hasid Umot Olam, we call them. Generous people of the world, or whatever, in English translation. These were the people that defied Nazi Germany during the Nazi Germany reign and chose to hide Jews and rescue and save. Israel took names and remembered every one of these persons and gave him a tree in Israel planted, and also the title, thank you on behalf of the Jewish nation, because in their darkest moments these people were there and they helped, saved countless of lives. And there were Christians, and there were atheists, and there were Germans, and there were Dutch, it doesn't matter. There were Arabs.
There were Chinese,
Yeah.
Chinese, a Japanese guy also.
Yeah, there were everything. In Gaza, we haven't seen one. And you know what? They kidnapped a soldier. You can say, combat. I can kind of, little bit understand maybe their side. Although I won't support it because obviously the IDF, is definitely the moral army in the story. But a baby, a 1-year-old baby, come on, kidnapping him, strangling him. This society have bankrupt. I don't see a chance for them to survive or to live alongside with him. They will destroy themselves.
Yeah.
And then they will destroy anyone around them.
Like you said, soldiers are fair game. In the end, this is war. And as much as we don't like it, and we don't support it, but there's a big difference between having a soldier and having a toddler who cannot even speak yet.
Yeah, man, it's just insane. Insane. And the mother, I don't know, what did they lose their body? Did it happen by mistake just because they're stupid? Could be.
They're playing games, man. They're playing
games. Maybe it's some kind of their insurance. So Israel doesn't wipe them out after all the hostages are done. So maybe they'll try to play that she's still alive. Maybe she is. I don't know.
Look, they did anything possible to make it as hard as it can for us to get those hostages. Like they gave us like a lock with broken keys or not the right keys.
Yeah.
They brought them, after horrendous circumstances, and they did like this whole parade again.
That is unbelievable. That is the pinnacle of how morally bankrupt the society is. Just the fact that you parade like it's a wedding day the bodies of the babies that you murdered and mutilated. There was a lot of wickedness. That's what the autopsy said.
And the kids.
That's what the autopsy said, that there was a lot of evil stuff that were done there to these kids. And then you bring your children and your wife and your daughters and you celebrate in the street, and that's like the Gazans. So that is the definition of a bankrupt society. If you ask me, you can't live alongside with them. Can't. Anyone that will try is either ignorant or deliberately suicidal. I just felt that we have to talk about this. I actually came to interview your father, who was a bad Tusik.
Bad Tusik himself.
Yeah. Who
the
was
original
special forces unit and a paramedic or a doctor.
He was a doctor on search and rescue.
And a search and rescue Air Force special forces unit, one of the coolest in the IDF. But he's not feeling well today, so we made this video for you guys. Stay safe. Stay strong. It's not easy what we've been through in the last few days. And see you next time.